So in order to manifest, you really have to remember what it was like being a kid. And with as far as like using your imagination, right? Feeling that magic, being able to play as a kid as well. As kids, we used our imagination all the time and we played. It's probably a bad acting job when we're kids, right? Unless we took actual acting classes, it's probably just playing for fun. But the point is we're able to play, to take on characters and to imagine ourselves in these different worlds, right? And then unfortunately when people grow up, they forget that ability. Okay, so really it's using your creativity and learning to play again. And this can go from, whether you're like, okay, well, who's the persona that I need to do in order to attract this person, right? If you're trying to approach someone, you're like, oh, maybe you're anxious or something. You're like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? I'm anxious. I'm not as confident as I want to be. Then you just switch that to, you can see in my previous videos about how to switch into a confident person to be able to get that result. But ultimately, all of that stems because you're using your imagination, okay? And this goes for relationships, wealth, anything, business, anything that you want to do, okay? You have to remember how to play. You have to remember how to imagine things again. The only reason why manifestation is hard for people at first is because they forgot how to use their creativity. And this includes problem solving. This is very important, problem solving too, because a lot of adults, they'll use logic, right? They'll be like, oh, you gotta use rational thinking, and it's no surprise that the adults that do that, even successful entrepreneurs that do that, even though they could be successful, they're successful because they grinded it out over years and years and years, and they still struggle to even keep up, right? That's not a life of alchemy. That's not a life of creation that you're gonna want, right? Because while there's while there's like the Alex Hormozis who worked their butt off, that are worth $100 million. There's also people like Selena Gomez, who, not to say that she doesn't work her butt off, but she has a personal brand based on her likeness that makes her over $1 billion. And she's not necessarily working hard, right? She's just doing what she loves. It's the same thing with Taylor Swift, for example. Like, they're one of the richest, maybe even the richest musicians in the world right now as a billionaire. And they genuinely just go out and they perform concerts and they love what they do. So it's important to really recognize, and you can see the difference in energy of these people. And that's another big thing, is energy. But I'll talk about that in a sec. So the first thing just to do is to learn about your imagination. Can you imagine and create like you did as a child? Can you be creative? Because that's also how you're going to be able to solve problems. That's how you're going to become a good problem solver. Okay, because good problems don't happen when I just need to sit down today and work. That's not problem solve. That's not how you quantum leap, right? You have to think completely differently. The only way to think completely differently is creativity. One way that you can actually spark up creativity is actually through chaos. And so this is why you'll hear the classic hero story of everything was going wrong, life was a mess, and then things actually manifested after that, right? And how people even on YouTube might say, like, if your life is looking like a mess, good. Okay, but the reason why they say that is because it's an opportunity to manifest if you use it correctly, because chaos is a lot of times can be a breeding ground for creativity, again, if you're able to channel it correctly, okay? Because really what creativity is it's breaking the loops. It's throwing everything in your head and throwing them to the wall, and everything breaks apart. It's like the Legos breaking apart, puzzle pieces breaking apart, so that everything's scattered, and so you can actually build something different than before, build something different than what you had before, okay? This is how creativity happens. Now, I'm not saying you need to go completely chaotic, right? But one way to add so-called chaos in your life, what may seem like chaos, is loosening control. So just simply being goofy and being kind of weird and allowing yourself to just sporadically be free, even if it is in your room, right? Just painting, just ridiculously not caring about anything, just throwing stuff to the walls if you paint, right? Singing crazily even if you don't sing, just doing weird stuff on the guitar. This is the act and art of creativity. This is what artists do. You have to be an artist. Even if you're a businessman, entrepreneur watching this, you have to be an artist to solve problems, okay? That's the only way to do it, and to do it in a better way than what all these hard work gurus online say. So that's the key, and you have to do it from a state, circling back, of play, of imagining, using your imagination to think of the end result, adding creativity and different ways of thinking, and even doing what seems like side quests to then learn something over here that helps you with your main thing over here. I've done that so many times, okay? Especially with my business and my business growth. So you have to learn about imagination. Then once you start actually going and taking actions naturally, because you'll be focusing on the end result like you should, you'll be doing the actions that you should be, then you're going to do the actions from a state of play. Like it's playful, it's fun, it's not hard work, it's just you're having fun doing it. And so then at that point, you're going to be in the best vibration possible to do it. Now, obviously, you need to be doing something that is fun to do so that one, you can be consistent at it, whatever the action is, and then also so that you can actually feel good doing it. And if you feel good doing it, your emotional faculties, they're going to be on the right track, your behavior is going to be aligned in the right way that's going to get you the results that you want. So then once you learn how to play and you learn how to imagine, then that's when you can actually start achieving and attracting what you want in your life. Okay, this is very, very important. But you have to remember how to play like a kid again. You have to remember how to imagine like a kid again and take it in that playful sense. Because then once you have this play sort of thing, you're creating, right? You're imagining, you're playing, you're creating at that point, and then you can solve problems and you can be a good problem solver going forth from that sort of point of view. Okay, and then again, when you throw everything to the wall and you completely just screw the routine, screw the things that I'm used to, then you actually allow yourself to have a quantum leap, because your brain's not going through the same loops, because that's what our brain does. It goes through loops, okay? A lot of our brains is just the same thing over and over again, routine. And so the way to get out of that is you add chaos, or in the healthier way, you go and create things. You know, you go and create some crazy song that sounds weird, etc. You let yourself completely be sporadic and just let loose. And that's when you start to understand that energy and that feeling again, and then you can apply that energy and that feeling to your business, right? And then you start getting these weird ideas of like, well, what if I did this? This is, what if I did this? And your old program's going to try telling you, no, like, you got to do the routine, you got to do the hard work every day, and it'll try to keep you stuck. But in order to move forward, in order to quantum leap, you have to create a new loop. And this is how, by using your creative faculties and using your creativity to be able to manifest these sorts of things, to be able to manifest solving problems. So again, the key, and this is just the key to happiness in general, by the way. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life or how you're living life. If you see everything as a chore, it's going to be a chore, right? Because you could go to the store and just be like, oh, I have to go to the store. It's another thing on my to-do list today. Or it's like, I get to go to the store, I get to have fun, I get to kind of be goofy and just whistle while you work sort of thing, whistle while you do it, but genuinely mean it, genuinely be playing. So, again, remember how you were as a kid. You imagined, you played, and you created, and that's as simple as it gets for manifestation. Imagine what you want, then result. Play when your brain leads you naturally to the actions that will allow you to get those things naturally. You have the mindset of playing. You're completely loose and light about this. You're not asking how. You're not asking, well, what action do I need to? All that will happen naturally. You're just literally having fun in life again. You're not caring about how things come. You're just having fun in life again. You're playing. You're loose. Okay? And then you're being creative, and then eventually it will come like that very easily. So I hope this video helped. Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, do all those wonderful things. Go ahead and check out my programs too. The links in the bio to help you guys to manifest quicker, especially my Reality Manifesto PDF to get you started, okay? It's going to help you manifest. It's going to give you a guide to be able to do all of this so that you're not lost, you don't have a million questions, you know exactly what to do so that you can go ahead and manifest the relationship you want and stop being lonely, right? So that you can go ahead and manifest the money that you want and be able to actually feel those feelings of freedom. Okay, so go ahead and check those programs out, and I'll check you guys out in the next video.